Last part, conclusion and all, and it's long. And one thing worth noting, MC-chan is now MG-chan, as in main girl-chan, to avoid mixing up her name with MC-kun. Enjoy. There's a sustained hush, like a breath held too long. It's a blooming, crawling, clawing wave of realization that takes the cafeteria captive. Heads turn, voices fall silent. Clueless candy hair after clueless candy hair takes in the murder scene. Mohawk spikes presented so curiously, so esoterically plastered. So curiously, so esoterically plattered, as if part of the lunch selection. The dish itself is a warning. MG-chan understands that much. She feels the bloodlust in the air, and it's closer now. She edges her chair away from the table. Her nerves are light. "Run," MG-chan says. "Sorry?" MC-kun replies. MG-chan kicks her chair back, lighting to her feet. "Run!" And at that moment, a sound like a cannonball fires, the silence breaking. People startle at the noise, but it's a boy sitting one table over, directly across from MC-kun, who jolts entirely sideways in his seat. He's the contestant whose hair has been coiffed perfectly into a cartoon whale, pallid blue and deep ocean undertones brimming through his hairline. He stares forward, as if stunned. The girl next to him asks if he's okay. He turns to her slowly and reveals that the entire right half of his face has been consumed in a wad of bubble gum. He raises one shaking hand to his whale tail, now webbed in gum, and he collapses. And all hell breaks loose. MG-chan has MC-kun by the shoulder before he can process it. They're running. Them and Gigi-chan and RBR-kun. Them and almost everyone else. A breathing, screaming mass of panic as people shove and knee and elbow their way through the crowd. "Where are we going?" MC-kun asks. He's stumbling to keep pace with MG-chan, one hand pressed protectively to the bandana on his forehead in danger of slipping off. "Away from here. Outside." MG-chan throws her weight against the cafeteria door. It slams open. "Wherever we're not sitting targets." Their feet beat against the linoleum below, into the hotel foyer, but it's no good. The bloodlust presence doesn't fade. It does not grow weaker. Instead, it gains on them, like heat, like a house fire that lashes out at their heels and trips them with each step. Another 2 kids go down, and the sound of razor blades and a puff of shorn hair, like dandelion fluff blown in the wind. MG-chan, MC-kun, Gigi-chan, and RBR-kun all burst out the hotel front doors, RBR-kun with a shriek and a graceful leap over a half-shaved, unconscious student on the floor. "How did he go down? I didn't even see him go down!" RBR-kun shouts, pointing to the kid he vaulted. "Invisibility? Is the murderer invisible?" "Maybe super speed. Really, any superpower is possible among these people. We can't rule anything out." Gigi-chan has her laptop out, balanced precariously on the crook of her arm. She types one-handed while she runs. "If I can hack into the security cameras, maybe I can activate the infrared sensors and get a reading on..." There's a crack. A gasp. MG, MC, and RBR all look back to find Gigi-chan frozen in place. Her glasses are shattered, pinned to the wall beside her by a single needle-thin arrow. "My glasses!" MG-chan blinks and stares at her laptop like it's something entirely foreign to her. "What is this? What was I..." MG-chan grabs her arm too. "Never mind. Run. Just run." The streets are thinning. Roadways become cobblestone, churned up and ill cared for. They wind with the streets, and the walls of neighboring buildings grow taller, as if those steepling in around them. One last sharp right turn brings them down a damp alleyway, to a dead-end wall towering high. Slick with sweat, MG-chan drops her grip on MC-kun. Her neck cranes to the top of the alleyway. She leans backwards, trapped, appraising. "It's a dead end." Gigi-chan points back toward the entrance of the alleyway. "We have to turn back around, quick, before he finds us." Gigi-chan freezes. A plick of water behind them captures her attention, like the footfall of someone walking between raindrops. The bloodlust breathes louder. They see nothing. They hear no one. But all 4 of them feel it now, the predatorial intent that has barricaded them into the alleyway. "Who's there?" Gigi-chan whispers, and only the wind answers. A second of silence. Sweat trickles down Gigi-chan's neck. RBR-kun screams. He pivots backward with his right hand clamped to his left shoulder, a sudden 6-inch tear bursting at the seam of his Gucci suit. A knife. An attack. Unseen, unheard, invisible. Somewhere. Where? Realization flashes down MG-chan's back like ice water. She takes one step forward, then another, and breaks into a run, eyes set on RBR-kun. She lifts her hand to her head and tears away her wig, netting and all, and releases it, hair strands trailing through her fingers so that a bob of short, black, unassuming hair sweeps her shoulders. "Hey, stop! That's dangerous! Your wig!" MC-kun yells at her, but he's a distant thought now, because MG-chan can see now. She can see. Eye to eye now with a brown-haired, dark-eyed girl in the alleyway. This new girl is dressed in an unassuming lilac seppuku. She's an utterly normal, utterly unnoticeable girl who's followed them into the alleyway, who'd blended in easily into a backdrop of millions, invisible to a cast of candy-haired protagonists. This girl wields a glinting butcher's knife in her hands. She considers MG-chan for only a moment as their eyes lock, but the girl with the knife has changed targets. With near supernatural speed, she's swept up behind MC-kun, wielding the knife inches from the nape of MC-kun's neck. She's close enough that her breath must be hot on MC-kun's skin, and yet he can't see her, not the way MG-chan can. "Get back!" MG-chan screams, and MC-kun has only a fearful few seconds to consider her before MG-chan shoves him out of the way. Full body, she knocks the murderer off course and pins her down so that the knife only managed to nick the knot in MC-kun's bandana. His bandana frays and splits and unravels from his forehead. It flutters down to the soggy pavement below, and with it trail a few shorn strands of bubblegum pink hair. MC-kun is snapped from the spell, and he can see her too. The background girl in the lilac seppuku is pinned. MG-chan claws at her wrist to free the hilt of the butcher knife. The murderer knees MG-chan and shoves her off and flips her knife to the ready in a single, delicate, calculated action. RBR-kun grabs a fistful of dollar bills from his Gucci suit. He hoists them high in the air and strikes a pose of such narcissistic self-importance that it looks as though he were summoning God himself. RBR-kun lets out an overwhelming wolf whistle, a summons loud enough to echo through the alleyway. And immediately, a helicopter descends. The gale force of its blades beat out a deafening rhythm that churned up dust and debris near blinding. A dark figure inside the copter lets down a rope ladder, which RBR-kun quickly straddles like a knight mounting his horse. "Come!" and he extends a hand to his friends below. MC-kun doesn't come. Not immediately. The murderer girl's been blinded by the gale force winds, and he seizes the opportunity to yank MG-chan from the pavement and drag her to the rope ladder himself. Gigi-chan has made it to the rope ladder. MG-chan grabs hold and climbs. MC-kun is on her heels, his neck prickling hot for a few seconds it takes to climb, knowing the murderer is mere inches behind him. The copter breaks away from the ground, careening upward. MC-kun holds on for dear life and dares to look backwards. His eyes lock with the murderer. She remains on the pavement below, hair whipping her face, but eyes burning, unblinking, into his. There's a pressure in them that freezes MC-kun in place. But the murderer does not move, and the helicopter makes its getaway. MG-chan and Gigi-chan held the rope up until MC-kun is close enough to shift his grip to MG-chan's arm and levy his weight against her so that she hoists him up. He collapses on the floor of the copter, knees weak beneath him. There's a man in a dark suit also in the hub of the copter, the one who threw out the ladder for them to climb. He's in the corner hustling RBR-kun for money, who's crying only a little bit while handing over the last of his crumpled dollar bills that were crammed inside his Gucci suit. MG-chan shuts the copter door tight behind them. "Are you guys okay?" Gigi-chan asks. Her laptop is gripped tight to her chest, hair severely windblown by the copter. Her eyes look so different without the oversized glasses. "I'm okay," MC-kun replies, just a bit winded. His hand moves absently up to the nape of his neck, to the hairline there, to where the bandana was cut away from him. There's the faintest smudge of blood that comes away with his fingertips. "What even happened down there just now?" RBR-kun asks. He's back from being hustled for money. His eyes shift briefly to his torn suit. "I didn't see anything, just something sliced my suit, then you jumped, Oh man, you lost your wig. Oh, that's not good." "Don't worry, I've got other wigs," MG-chan says. She leans back, away from MC-kun, her face pensive. What happened is I figured out how she could slip through the crowds completely unnoticed. She just had to become someone unnoticeable to us. "She was normal looking, wasn't she?" Gigi-chan asks. "As plain as they come," MG-chan answers. "She's twisted this whole thing against us. We put on these ridiculous outfits and we became exactly like all the other naturally ridiculous looking kids here, on this plane of importance too high to even notice someone who's naturally normal. She didn't need powers, and she didn't even need a disguise. She just needed to be normal." MG-chan presses a hand to her bob-cut hair. "She's one of us." "You're not Quite right, MC-kun says quietly, still a bit dazed, still processing. About that last part, at least. I don't think she's one of us at all. What do you mean? MC-kun points to his own hairline. I saw it, staring at her while we got away, with the helicopter wind tearing everything up. He taps now, twice, beneath the brown hair, down at the roots, right at the hairline. She was pink. Her natural hair underneath. It was absolutely pink. The best the copter can do is set them down on the hotel roof. It's disorienting and absolutely a bit surreal to be plopped down on the roof of some 30-story grand hotel by a copter summoned from thin air, left to bang on the maintenance door until a very, very confused janitor lets them back inside. Though hanging out on the roof of a building with the wind dramatically sweeping their hair just felt right. All four of them could agree. It's MG-chan's room where they settle, where MG-chan pulls a spare wig and hairnet from her costume box to reaffix to her head, and a spare set of oversized glasses to offer back to Gigi-chan, and a set of needle and thread to sew RBR-kun's suit. MG-chan doesn't have any spare bandanas to offer MC-kun, but he waves it off, muttering that he has a few in his own room to grab later. MG-chan has her legs swung over the edge of her hotel bed, her fingers making quick work at the hole in RBR-kun's suit jacket. She hardly looks as she weaves the thread through the knife incision. RBR-kun sits awkwardly in the nearest armchair in his Gucci pants and his sweaty undershirt. Is she even targeting us specifically? MG-chan asks aloud, fingers closing on another loop of thread. Those people who got taken out in the cafeteria, I know most of them were natural candy hairs. Maybe it's a buckshot approach, MC-kun answers. His back is against the door, braced intentionally, as though he expects a force to come breaking it down any moment. If she wipes out everyone, then she wipes out us in the process, and gets to win this competition too, probably. That's dumb if she already knows who you are, MG-chan answers. She has your old photo and your room number. You, specifically, should be easy to target. And me too, now that she's seen my natural hair. She could just replace her shampoo or my shampoo with Nair and be done with it. Oh shit, she could totally do that. But she hasn't. So why is she going to all the trouble of wiping out everyone across the board?
I don't know why, but what you said is only half the picture, MG-chan answers, hunched over her keyboard. She did see us, but also we saw her, so we can focus on figuring out her identity. Her glasses flash. I'm not getting anywhere with jQuery, but if this competition's registration page doesn't sanitize its inputs, I can try to launch an SQL injection attack to set my own admin credentials and SSH into the contestant database and scrape it for all the contestant information.
Cool. What's that mean? MC-kun asks.
You know I don't know what that means,
MG-chan replies as she launches a successful SQL injection attack and scrapes the contestant registry. She turns her screen around, revealing a filtered set of pink-haired contestants. Here, of the 1,046 kids who are registered, 147 are girls with pink hair, and only 107 of them are still in the competition. MC-kun looks the faces over, and he looks them over a second time, the minutes passing in silent scrutiny. Slowly, he shakes his head, brow knitted in confusion. I don't recognize her there. And even if she does have pink hair, she's already disguised herself once as far as we know. She could be operating under any other disguise she wants. I've got it! RBR-kun announces, bouncing to his feet. The poofy hotel armchair pillow bounces up with him, riding the trail of sparkles that follow his movement. He sticks his index finger upward triumphantly. I've figured it out! Gigi-chan briefly stops typing.
You figured out who she is?
No, I figured out what we need to do. It's simplistic, actually, and quite elegant. I'm amazed I hadn't considered this earlier.
Okay, and?
Gigi-chan prompts. Tomorrow, during the competition, let's all, and RBR-kun strikes a pose, lose! I'm sorry? MC-kun, MG-chan, and Gigi-chan all echo. Let's just lose tomorrow. RBR-kun's expression is smug, self-satisfied. He angles his thumb and index finger out, using them to frame his chin. We lose. We go home with our toupees intact. No murderous girl on our heels. No harm done. Voila! Problem solved. There's a pause.
Toupee?
MC-kun asks.
Is it a toupee?
Gigi-chan now. The toupee is not the point. RBR-kun answers, and suddenly his hair seems a bit lopsided. The point is we throw in the towel and be done with this. Neither of those are the point, MG-chan answers. She leans over and thwacks RBR-kun lightly on the back of the head. He jolts forward, hair straighter. We're not just going to throw the competition. We want to compete, and we want to win, like all the other candy-haired kids here. Deciding to give up and just go home is the same as letting the murderer win. I'd rather lose to her myself. It's not the same. It's a tactical choice, like strategy. We're outsmarting our opponent by intentionally losing. What sort of rival are you? MG-chan asks. Your whole persona thing is supposed to be about defeating him. MG-chan points a finger at MC-kun. What sort of sworn rival just decides to quit? The kind of sworn rival trying not to get audited on his taxes. RBR-kun responds. Taxes? MC-kun asks. Are you committing tax fraud? Gigi-chan follows. Besides the point. RBR-kun says. Never mind. Stop besiding the point. We need to focus. MG-chan stands tall over RBR-kun and shoves his jacket back into his lap. The point of this group is that none of us are going home. That's why you begged to join us, isn't it? And I mean, if you want to leave, then leave. But we want to stay in the competition. We want to win. As big and as grand as any of those candy-haired competitors who crushed us all when we were just part of the background, we want to win. MC-kun raises his hand, speaking up for the first time in a while. Yeah, about that? He looks up, and his face is deeply bothered. What is this competition? Silence meets him. MG-chan opens her mouth as if to answer, then shrinks back, face waxing with confusion. Gigi-chan's eyes shoot wide, and she begins to type. Wait. MG-chan answers, finally. Right? MC-kun pushes off from the door, eyes set to the far window, to its towering view of some grandiose international city that he cannot name. I can't remember what we're competing in. Was it ever even set?
It was. At one point, I'm certain, Gigi-chan mutters, thumbnail pressed against her teeth. Her other hand keeps typing. I'm trying to retrieve the version history of the itinerary on the website, but it's corrupted.
She looks up.
Something's changed it.
Oh, spooky. RBR-kun adds. He pats his Gucci jacket. I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that, dare I say it, not at all. MG-chan deflates somewhat, lowering herself into the plush carpet with her hands set to the sides of her wig. She removes it, staring at it as her short bob hair falls across her face. That's unsettling. I don't like these blind spots. Do you think she has something to do with this too? The murderer? I have this scary feeling she knows way more about how this world works than we do.
Maybe?
Gigi-chan answers. Probably. Most definitely. RBR-kun says. I think that doesn't matter, actually. MC-kun asserts. He rises taller now, a sort of mania in his eyes. You're right. What you said about this competition, about winning. I've been so just freaked out and scared and worried about being found out, being sabotaged and sent home. I let that blind me. I let her scare me into submission. Not anymore. This is the last time she gets to hold me back. MC-kun glides his fingers through his hair, spiking it upward. He fishes in his pocket and emerges with a spare bandana, fiery as his eyes, and ties it back around his forehead. We don't need to outsmart her or figure out her motive or unmask her or any of that. We only need to win. We'll send her home, whoever she is, fair and square. Because if we watch each other's backs and we keep winning, then we'll knock her out by default. It's that simple. It's taking first place, that undisputable, irrefutable first place that will knock her out for good. And you know what? I feel like being the one to do it. As payback, as a statement, as victory. I feel like winning. He angles himself toward Gigi-chan. What's the competition tomorrow? Gigi-chan turns her screen around, glinting glasses obscuring her eyes. A crest of knives dominates the page. Cooking. And MC-kun nods, the fire in his veins keen like the flames of a stove. Perfect. Gigi-chan lowers the computer. Not perfect. In fact, very not perfect. She lifts her head, glasses glint vanishing to reveal eyes full of despair. Quite, yes, dare I say, terrible. RBR-kun answers. That's not how you pronounce terrible in French. MG-chan says. It's not. I don't know how to speak French. I also do not know how to cook at all. A young man of my caliber expects all meals to be catered by personal waitstaff, no less. When we met you were eating a handmade PB&J sandwich, MC-kun says. Yes, and it was atrocious. Everything was sticky and I hated it.
I also don't stand much of a chance here. Gigi-chan raises her hand, speaking sheepishly. She lays her laptop on the ground. I hope you guys can make it through this round. I'll be rooting for you.
Come on, nonsense. There's got to be something you can make, MC-kun says, feeling the fire in his heart quickly dampening, like someone were kicking sand onto it. Some specialty, yeah?
Well, Gigi-chan starts, there's a special ramen I make sometimes.
Good. Let's work with it. What's in it?
Instant ramen, and also there's...
Gigi-chan curls her fingers and flicks her wrist.
A cracked egg in it for protein!
Silence meets her. Gigi-chan flushes, embarrassed.
I live off snacks and instant ramen, okay? It's the only way I have so much time to code. I don't know how to turn an oven on.
Look, okay, we'll salvage this, right? MC-kun insists. Both of you just need to learn one nice recipe before tomorrow. We have the internet. We've got time. That's not good enough. MG-chan now. She's risen, making her way to the closet in the back of her room. And you cannot treat this like a normal contest. We're playing by different rules. She flicks the light on, dingy fluorescent dousing a stockpile of giant container bins. MG-chan lifts the top one with ease, turns, and sets it down on the rug. She flicks the latches open, pops off the lid. The bin is filled to the brim with costume props. MG-chan pulls out a pair of horn-rimmed glasses and tosses them to Gigi-chan. Start with these. We have work to do.